There are 27 million Americans who did everything right. They showed up, they worked 30 years, they were promised something simple: work hard, retire comfortably. And now that promise is quietly being broken, and almost nobody is talking about it. Because on the surface, public pensions sound boring, like something only accountants and HR departments care about. But underneath the surface, there is a financial time bomb sitting inside the retirement system that funds teachers, firefighters, and police officers across the entire country. And it is significantly larger than most people realize.
Here's what that number doesn't tell you. The United States currently has over 5,000 public pension funds managing roughly $5 trillion in assets. Sounds enormous, sounds safe. But here's the problem. These funds have made promises they cannot keep. Because collectively, public pensions in America are underfunded by an estimated $1.5 to $4 trillion, depending on who's doing the math and how honest they're being about it. And here's where it gets interesting. Because pension funds don't just sit on cash, they invest it. And to hit their return targets, most public pensions assume they'll earn around 7% annually, forever. Which sounds reasonable until you realize that assumption is the entire house of cards. Because when markets underperform, when interest rates shift, or when more retirees start drawing benefits than expected, that 7% assumption doesn't just look optimistic, it looks delusional. And the gap between what these funds promised and what they actually have gets wider every single year.
But maybe this is just a math problem. Maybe it stays contained. Maybe it never touches you. Except it already has. Because when a pension fund runs short, there are only three options: cut benefits to retirees who were promised something different, raise taxes on residents to cover the shortfall, or both. And we've already seen this movie play out. Because in 2013, Detroit filed for the largest municipal bankruptcy in American history. And one of the central reasons was its massively underfunded pension system. Retirees who spent decades working for the city saw their benefits cut. People who planned their entire retirement around a number that simply wasn't there anymore. And Detroit wasn't alone. Illinois, New Jersey, Kentucky, and California are all carrying some of the most underfunded pension systems in the country. Illinois alone has a pension shortfall of over $200 billion. And the state has been kicking this can down the road for decades because fixing it means raising taxes, cutting services, or telling retirees the truth, none of which are popular options before an election.
And it gets worse, because this isn't just a local government problem anymore. It's a systemic one. Because when municipalities get squeezed by pension obligations, they cut everything else first: schools, infrastructure, public services, the things that make cities function. And when cities start to deteriorate, businesses leave, tax revenue drops, and the pension shortfall grows even faster. It's a slow-motion spiral that feeds itself. And here's the part that should genuinely concern you even if you don't have a public pension. Because these pension funds are massive institutional investors. They own stocks, bonds, and real estate across the entire market. And if a wave of underfunded pensions starts liquidating assets to cover obligations, that's not a local problem. That's a market problem. That's your 401k feeling it. That's your portfolio feeling it. That's everyone feeling it. Because the financial system is connected in ways that aren't obvious until something breaks. And right now, the people in charge are doing what people in charge always do when a problem is too politically uncomfortable to fix. They're managing the headline number instead of solving the actual problem, using optimistic return assumptions to make the shortfall look smaller on paper, delaying the reckoning one budget cycle at a time.
But recessions don't care about budget cycles. Markets don't care about political calendars. And eventually, the gap between what was promised and what actually exists becomes too large to paper over.
So, the next time someone tells you the economy is fine, ask them about the pension funds. Ask them about the $4 trillion hole sitting underneath the retirement of millions of Americans who did everything they were told to do. Because the crisis isn't coming. For a lot of people, it's already here. They just haven't been told yet.